Every time, man. Every time. Every time. What's annoying is we had this solved. And now all of a sudden. Where did I leave you at? Yeah, it's reserved. They shouldn't be doing checks. Did the rules reference bring up any chemical romance? I think it did. I think it did. God. Thank you, Link, for saying timber, too. Every time, man. Every time. I give it a minute for people to catch up. My internet's been so bad. I was like, God, every time. What did I leave you guys at? What was the last thing we were talking about? YouTube did retaliate on me. Every time. Did you hear teamwork? How far back do I have to go? Did not hear teamwork. Okay. Jesus. FFG hacked me. Just got here. Hey, on your left. All right. Did you hear ignore? Did we discuss ignore? Oh yeah, I guess I can look at it. Duh. Duh. That's actually smart. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Updates and upcoming expansions? Nope. You have to do it online. Fines. Face down encounter card. Repeated based on the number of count. If a forward a separate instance of effect has a choose instruction for each iteration of that. Oh my god, we made it so far past that. Oh. Okay. For each. Okay. Okay. I hate streaming sometimes. Actually, yeah, a lot of the other stuff was pretty quick to go through. Okay, that's fine. I'll give it a minute. This seems like a new thing that's happening. It's one of those things where it has been happening the past 2 months, and then we fixed it by doing the thing it said to do to fix it. And then now it just did it again for the first time in a while. Hey, Silver. Universe is saying F rules. Sounds like I took my shot at the right time. You did. You did. I'll let people filter back in for a minute. God, every time. all your LimeWire downloads. The government doesn't know about that, though. This is your time to get Rogue Energy, by the way. You know what I'm saying? LimeWire throwback? I know, right? All right. All right. Oh, hi, Mark. Early 90s? Yes. Ever since I was born. So, 88. I like that's like, your stream was failing. Now it's telling me my stream was failing at the time. Thanks. Someone listen to Trey 2000. We back? We're back. I made it to the end of the rulebook too. No, I did make about 8 pages further, it turns out. 3 years old and a Cowboys fan. The only thing I have to hold on to is owning the Bills in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, you guys crushed us. Wasn't even close. I can't tell if you're back. I'm back. If you're in this one, I'm back. Game time? No, we still have to read the rules. Second game is a little close. I mean, like a little. All right, we'll start doing these rules. Okay. So where we were, or where you were, was 4 each. So we will continue our 4 each talk. All right, so. Cheering for the Browns, that's true. At least I got that going for me. Okay, so 4 each. We sincerely do hope apologies before, and you have not been streaming on dead air. We do apologize for the inconvenience. And the thing is, like, when in the past, when streams have failed, like, it pops up a box that shows it. Now it's not popping up that box anymore, and it's hiding the box, so I can't tell. And I happen to look at I have a deck with the counter of, like, down here, like, there's, like, counters that show me how many people are watching, and all of a sudden the numbers were 0. And I'm like, I know I'm not that great of a streamer, but, like, it's usually not 0. All right, let's get back to it. So 4 each. If a 4 each effect has a choose instruction, each iteration of that choice is considered a separate instance for that effect, even if the same target is chosen multiple times. So a game state updates after each instance, for example, and if a minion or side scheme is defeated. Response can be triggered after each instance. So we're discussing with this, if you get rid of, like, a minion that had a guard on it, you could still attack the villain then, right? Because a lot of people are confused about that. Could you attack a guard? Like, if there's a minion with guard and you took out that person, could the next instance happen? It could. So good change. Fine with that. Not bad. That player can trigger the responsibility after you deal damage to an enemy after each instance. Yeah, that's fine. Wait, that's what this one is, right? Or did I read a different one? Yeah, with a guard minion that uses an effect that says, for each resource you spend this way, choose an enemy and deal 2 damage to it. If that player defeated the guard minion with one of those instances of 2 damage, making the villain invalid target, they can do so. And that player can trigger responsibility, like, after you deal damage to an enemy after each instance. Cool. All right, so then we get into forced. So force states that force interrupt and force responsibilities must be resolved when their triggering conditions are met. And force actions, that's fine because force actions are pretty new. Force interrupt and force response, it makes sense, right? You do the thing, or the force is triggered, you have to do the thing. That's fine. Hazard icon during the deal encounter step phase, that's fine. Hit points. So this just states when an ability that says an identity or villain gets X hit points goes in effect, increase it by the amount. And if they lose it, then they reduce it. I think we all basically played this way. So that's fine, but it wasn't clarified, I guess, in the rules. So whatever. Same with ally or minion. Same exact thing. If it would kill them, it would take them out of play, right? That's fine. Cost arrow, it's fine. All right, ignore. An ability that ignores some ability, icon, or cost treats that ability, icon, or cost as not being in effect or present while that ability is resolving. So when a card is played ignoring its resource cost, no resources are paid for that card. For the purpose of that card effect, that card is considered to have been paid with 0 resources paid for that card, right? So you can't be like, I ignored the card, but it cost us, you get a bonus for like playing it with a strength resource or something. No, that's not how that works. That's fine. Cool. Easy enough. Okay, initiating abilities. If a card has a resource cost of X, the players playing that card chooses the value of X during this step. That's fine. Interrupt. Once all players decide they do not wish to resolve any further interrupts to the triggering condition, further interrupts to the instance of that triggering condition cannot be used. So like basically when you get new information, you can't suddenly be like, oh yeah, by the way, right? That's fine. That makes sense. All right, teamwork. So the updated teamwork trait, the minion that just entered play activates in the player that is engaged with. This is the new errata ruling because before they both would trigger against you, right? And now it's just the current one will trigger against you. It's good that this is now in the rules, so it's easier to see. All right, lasting effects. So some cards have lasting effects. Okay, so for the specific duration of a lasting effect, it is treated as if the constant ability and the same timing priority as a constant ability. So lasting effects update whenever the game state updates. So basically, like it's not when the card is played you would get that thing. It constantly is checking that on the table, which is good. That's fine. All right, so this was the interesting one that was at when things crashed. So leaves play. When a card leaves play, discard each card attached to or tucked under that card. Discard each boost card given to that card. Return each token to the status card on that card to the supply. This was big. This is big in the sense that if you have stage 1 of a villain, and that stage 1, sorry, hold on one second. So that stage 1 had like a bunch of boost icon or a bunch of boost cards that were face down or status tokens or the attached stuff. There was some like ambiguity there that is now clarified so that basically at any point, like if you defeat stage 1 of the villain and they had 3 boost cards face down, they go away, right? If the one before it had a confuse or whatever on it, that goes away, which is interesting too. So you can't carry over your confuses or your stuns, which is bad. But the cards attached to it or tucked under that card leaves play. Yeah, all right. So that's a penalty because I think we did that, right? If there was a tough, or not a tough status, that's a bad example, but if there was a stunned card on stage 1, stage 2 is not stunned anymore. So that's kind of a big update with that and how that works. That might have been the correct way this whole time. Just we've definitely, I've seen a lot of people play it where if they're stunned on the first stage, then it's done. But you still get retaliate once it switches to stage 2. You did now. You do now. I would leave attachments on when I defeat the stage. So I like this rule. Yeah. Yeah. It's a good clarification. This is very simple. Stage 1 or, stage 1, stage 2, or stage 2, stage 3, it loses everything on it. Okay. Interesting. So linked card title. The number of linked cards set aside during setup is equal to the number of those cards included with the product of which the linked card came. Okay, so you can't put other linked cards in. That's fine. If multiple decks contain the same card named on one or more linked cards, set aside the appropriate ones. That's fine. When a player takes control of a card that is linked, the player becomes the owner. Okay. The status being discarded is the cost of making retaliate work. Yeah. So when going to stage 2, everything including the villain attachments disappear? Yes. Yeah, so everything that's on stage 1 of that card is gone. Stage 1 is a different villain for purposes of game rules, except for when it comes to retaliate, which we're going to see in a minute. Well, a couple minutes. Everything on that card is gone, which actually makes it easier overall because a lot of people are like, wait, do I keep the stun or confuse on? You no longer do. And again, that's may have been how people were playing it originally. But yeah, everything's gone. Okay, that's fine. This makes some things way easier, like Iron Man, Civil War. Yes. It would make... Yeah, I guess Ronin would be easier too, because he would lose his hammer. Oh, I gotta read Ronin again. It's been a while. Wow, yeah. So, okay. If you defeat stage 1 of Ronin, this now gets discarded. Because it's attached. Yeah, it goes away. So what happens with the Power Stone? Wait. Oh, shoot. I clicked on that again. Mad Titan Shadow. No, it's only when the card leaves play. So not when... It's not everything does. It's just when a card leaves play, you discard from that card. That card. That card. Okay, so Infinity Gauntlet's permanent, so we don't have to worry about that. No, this is an environment, the stones. It's not an attachment. So Power Stone, because it's the environment, would stay out there. And it's not attached to it. And you couldn't discard the Infinity Gauntlet because it's a permanent card. So permanent would override anything. But for Ronin, that would get rid of the hammer, which is kind of crazy. Actually, that makes Ronin like a lot easier. Huh. The other Power Stone? Which one is it? This one? It's permanent, so it can't be discarded. Doesn't have attachment to defeat his first stage? That's true. Yeah, so because this Power Stone is a permanent, you wouldn't discard this. Hey, Ben. Rhino from the Corba set? Talk about someone I haven't played in forever. So, what is it? Horn, charge. This is charge, right? Yes. Charge will go away. The horn would go away as well. The suit, because any damage that would be dealt to him would go on this anyway, so you can't deal damage onto him. So it wouldn't affect the suit. But charge and his horn, yes, you would get rid of these cards because they are attachments and they are not permanent. Actually, it makes a lot of villains a lot easier now. Wait, let's look at Venom Goblin. He only has one attachment out here, but it would discard We Are One. So if you got We Are One somewhat early, or like right before the flip, and you knocked it out, that would go away. And then obviously, what does he use? Venom Goblin, Symbiotic Strength, and Goblin Gear. So Symbiotic Strength, yeah, you would get rid of this. You would get rid of that. This would go to you, so that's different. Those are just treacheries. What was the other thing I said? Goblin Gear. Yeah, you can get rid of Glider this way. Glider would go away. The bombs would go away. These bombs would go away. These bombs would go away. Huh. Okay. Yeah, so for Spider-Man, webbed up would go away. That's interesting. Huh. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it really is just like now. It puts a little different way of doing things. Because again, if Ronan has the hammer, pushing him to second stage quicker isn't necessarily a bad thing anymore, or as bad of a thing. Because like the hammer back in the day. Oh wait, let me read the hammer one more time. I feel like I'm missing something. Yeah, because it's only when you do the hero action it shuffles back in, but we're not doing hero action. Yeah, because that was interesting with this. That had to get shuffled back in. You have to decide when you're going to do that and whatnot. Now it's just like, no, leave it on and just punch him in the face. Huh. Okay. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Cool. It actually adds a level of strategy. It really does. It really does now. Because like again, you wouldn't really push it for certain things, but yeah. Why do you guys think this leaves play? The new ruling for leaves play. So when a card leaves play, discard each card attached to or tucked under that card, and discard each boost card given to that card, and return each token and status card on that card to the supply. So this is attached to it. Does it say here the phase lives? Defeating a character, discarding a card from play, placing a card in victor's play, removing cards from the game are all different means by which the card can leave play. So yeah, it is saying when you defeat a character or discarding them, placing a card in victor's play, or removing a card from the game by all different means. So yeah. Look under a villain defeat though? We haven't gotten there yet. If villain defeat says something different than this, then I'm already upset. Because again, then it shouldn't say a character. Because villains are characters. Alright. Villain defeat. Alright. The revealing of a villain cannot be cancelled. If the new stage of the villain has the same title as the previous stage, the new stage villain is considered the same character as the defeated stage for the purposes of card abilities, such as Retaliate. Ugh. If the new stage of villain has a different title... See, yeah, this is... Oh my god, doesn't make any sense. Attachments, upgrades, and status cards, counters, and non-damage tokens on a villain carry over to the new stage. Why? You just said in your earlier rules... Okay. So they don't mean a character. Okay. That's so frustrating. So they really should have changed this to not defeating a character. Defeating anything but a villain. Keep explaining. Oops, hold on. All right, so the new stage is considered the same, blah, blah. Attachments, upgrades, and status cards and counters and non-damage cards carry over. If the villain was defeated while the activating, the villain resumes the activation during the new villain stage. Okay, if the new stage of the villain has a different title from previous stages, the new stage villain is not considered the same as the character defeated for stage purposes of card abilities. Attachments, upgrades, and status cards, counters, and non-damage cards do not carry over to the new stage. That's if it's a different one. So like if you're playing Marauders right now. Okay. 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 But it's annoying because... Okay. Okay. The problem with all of this, unless we get to when defeated and they change when that is. No, we're not. Actually, let's not even guess. Let's just look at when defeated. QSTUVW. Don't know my alphabet. When a villain stage, side scheme, or main scheme stage ally is defeated, you trigger all when defeated. Okay. So. Okay. When you defeat a stage of the villain, you can trigger when defeated because you defeated that stage. But the villain's not actually defeated. Is where we're back with this. Are villains characters? Yes. Unless they changed it. Identities, heroes, alter egos, allies, villains, and minions are all characters. Okay. Well, and that's my issue, is that the card left play. Let me find it. So the phase leaves play refers to any time when a card transitions from an in-play area to an out-of-play area. I am taking stage 1 and I'm removing it from play. I think we can all agree with that. That card is no longer in play. So defeating a character, discarding a card from play, placing a card in the victory display, or removing card from the game are all different means by which a card can leave play. What they're saying is because of when they're doing the when defeated, but it's not actually defeated a villain, I guess they're counting it the same. Oh my God. So when a card leaves play, unless it's the villain card, you would do all this stuff. Okay. That's chat. I'm having a hard time. So when a card leaves play, unless it's the villain, right? Which I guess should be added into that. This would all happen, except for when it doesn't. Second point on when defeated also explicitly removes the card from play. Hold on. When defeated, you said, right? Right. So, all right. When a villain stage, side scheme, or main scheme stage ally or minion is defeated, all when defeated abilities on that card revoked. When a defeated card leaves play after its when defeated ability is resolved. Okay. So you can defeat stage 1 of a villain, but it's not actually defeated. Got it. Okay. Well, this is if you don't fully understand the entire rule book, you can easily look up a rule. Right. And this is the thing that I think drives me up a wall most, is that people, generally speaking, will say, okay, we're focusing on like this card is leaving play, right? So we're leaving play. And then now I have to read this and understand villain defeat, and I have to understand when defeated, those three things all at the same exact time. Should I just say with defeating a non-villain character? Rafa, welcome chat. Yeah. Like it just defeating a non-villain character. Okay. We're there. I just hate that it's the phrase leaves plays refers to any time, asterisk, when a card transitions from the in-play area to the out-of-play area, except when it doesn't. Got it. It refers to you except when it doesn't. Got it. Okay. It's tiring, chat. Okay. We're going to calm ourselves. So everything we talked about, all the cool things you can do, apparently that's not the case. So we got that going for us. So it's when a card leaves play, being mad at someone. So it's when a card leaves play, except for the villain. It doesn't do it. Got it. Best thing, the leaves play, see also, doesn't even refer to the villain that contradicts this. It doesn't. It doesn't. Right? Like, at least you're right. At least if it said, like, see villain defeat, people would be like, oh, okay, I have to read more in there. Or when defeated. Okay. Okay. They're gonna have to errata the rulebook. I'm giving them the next errata set. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna be 1.9 already. Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. All right. Let's move on before I get angry. 1.8 next week, please, for the love of God. Linked card title. The number of linked cards set aside. Okay, we did this. This is the whole new linked card thing. This is fine. You can't exploit linked cards. Okay. Leaves play. I'm going to get rid of this section. I'm going to rip. If they send me a rule book with this, I'm going to rip it out. Okay. The perf player icon is not considered a modifier and is applied before any modifiers are applied. That's fine. That's fine. If a card ability causes a character to get a statistic such as +1 attack or 4 hit points, the ability modifies the player's statistic while it's active. That's fine. Such an ability expires and when it becomes inactive, you remove the value. Okay. A dash value cannot be modified. It's always just 0. See 1.6 rules. All right. Move. If damage is moved off a character, that move damage is considered to be healed from that character. Okay. Interesting. If threat is removed, it's considered to be removed. Okay. Fine. Nemesis. An identity's nemesis minion is the minion belonging to that identity's nemesis set. Okay. If a nemesis set has multiple minions in it, nemesis minion is designed by a parentheses text. Yeah, that's fine. An identity's nemesis side scheme is the one that belongs. Okay, that's fine. Non-numerical value. Treat it as being equal 0. Okay, that's fine. Otherwise. Okay. Effects beginning with otherwise resolve only if the preceding effect was not resolved. An otherwise effect will resolve if one or more of the following are true. If a condition that is not true, for example, an ability reads, if you are in hero form, take 2 damage. Otherwise, place 2 threat in the main scheme. The otherwise portion resolves. Okay, that's fine. If an effect that cannot at least partially resolve, for example, discard 2 cards from your hand, otherwise exhaust your identity. The otherwise portion resolves if the player cannot discard at least. So if you can partially do it, it counts. Okay, that's a good clarification because there has been situations where you can kind of do it, but not. So as long as you can kind of do the thing, you're good. Okay. If otherwise is preceded by a semicolon, the preceded effect refers to the effects before the semicolon in the sentence. If the otherwise effect is its own sentence, the preceding effect refers to the sentence coming directly before the otherwise sentence. Okay, that's fine. Take care, Chashi. Every rule should be fully inclusive or specified reference that needs to be considered. That way, when you read the rule entry, you have everything you need from there. There shouldn't be a requirement to know what other places are relevant. Right, and that's what Joshi said. Like the C also doesn't even refer to the villain defeating a villain, which it should. So you would like again as a player who doesn't have time to read through all 68 pages of this, you would know directly what to look for. So you wouldn't even look at that. All right, if an ally takes any amount of excessive damage from an attack with the overkill, okay, meaning takes them from, it's fine. Ownership and control. Identity cards are owned and controlled by the player playing as the identity. That's fine. What's this? Still ownership. A change in control of a card remains in effect until one of the following occurs. The ability that changed the control of that card ceases to be in effect. For instance, when an attachment or upgrade from that card controls, that card reverts to its owner's control. That card leaves play, is placed in your owner's equivalent out of play area, hand deck. Okay. The card is an event that was played. It is placed in the owner's discard pile. Oh, if someone else takes your card, like Rogue or whatever, right? The card is discarded from the player's hand. It is placed in the owner's discard. So I can't like... Okay, that's fine. Permanent. Permanent cards are set aside before step 1 of the setup phase and are put into play by later abilities. This is the Wolverine's Claws thing, so that's fine. If the card to which a permanent attachment was attached leaves play, resolve the attachments attached to the text. If a card to which a permanent attachment is not a valid target, remove it from the game. Okay, so we can remove permanent if it can't attach to anything else. Okay. That makes sense, I guess. You can't just have like a random permanent card just floating around. So, okay. If a player is eliminated from the game while a non-attachment permanent card they do not own is in their player, remove that permanent card from the game. Oh, non-attachment. Okay, so you have like an environment or something in your thing. It's removed from the game permanently. Okay. If an attack with the piercing keyword would deal no damage to the attacked character, it does not discard a tough status from that character. Oh, so you can't attack for 0 and just use piercing. Fine. That's fine. Player elimination. You don't have to worry about that as a solo player, but if there are minions engaged with the eliminate player, each of those minions engages clockwise, retaining any tokens, attached cards, boost cards. Okay. For each card in the eliminated player's player that is not owned by a player, do the following. If the card is an attachment with a permanent keyword, resolve it's attached to. If there is none, you remove it. Okay. So it's like when Wolverine dies or when Storm dies, their permanent disappears. For yeah, like all that would go away. Because technically with like permanent stuff, because of the way permanent's worded, it would always be on the table at all times. So really quick, a card with a permanent keyword cannot be defeated, leave play, or have any part of its text box blanked except for card abilities in the same set. So it can. Right? Even though it says it can't, we now know that it can. So this was like exactly with Wolverine's claws. Like if he's gone, what happens to those claws? Like technically, according to this, it would never leave play. But now it would. If they left play, it would leave. Like if Wolverine left play, it would leave play. Which makes sense. I mean, it's a very nuanced thing that no one really would do much with, but if a card attachment with a permanent keyword, resolve it's attached to. Okay. Remove each non-permanent or non-attachment card from the permanent keyword from the game. Okay. There are times you get like environments on you that are permanent, so that will go away. Place each other card in its owner's discard pile. Okay. That's fine. So if you had a card on me and I lost, like the card would just go in your discard pile. So that's fine. Player phase. After each player takes a turn, the players discard down to their hand size and ready each exhausted card. Okay, all cards are readied. That's fine. Ready. If there is an additional cost for a player to ready a card, that player can choose not to pay the cost. If they not pay the cost, the card is not ready. Okay, that's fine. A lot of people are talking about like, do I have to ready my hero, whatever? Like, I don't want to do it. Like, that's fine. Or whatever it is. Like, there's certain attachments that do things. Referential ability. Player cards. If the ability is on a player card or the encounter card. Wait. Some abilities refer to specific cards by name. These are called referential abilities. If an ability refers to a title ship on multiple cards, that ability refers only to the cards that match the criteria. So player cards, if the ability is on a player card or the encounter card, okay. Refers just to like that set of cards. Got it. Response. If single effect causes multiple triggering conditions to occur, responses to each of those triggering conditions can be resolved. For example, if an attack triggers both after you attack and after you defeat response, those responses can be resolved in any order. Cool. Okay. Once all players decide that they do not want to do anymore, they don't do anymore, right? You can't get new information and be like, oh wait, I meant to do that, right? That's not what it is. So that's fine. Okay. Good old retaliate. So they finally changed retaliate again for like the 10th time. So now it states the character with retaliate X must be in play after the attack resolves to deal this damage. before, the way it was kind of worded is that if you defeated a character or if you defeated whatever, retaliate wouldn't trigger. So now it's stating that if stage 2 has retaliate on a villain, right? So you knock out stage 1, retaliate will trigger now according to this. So the character with retaliate X must be in play after the attack resolves to deal this damage. Even though your attack didn't resolve against stage 2, they're counting it against the character itself now. So of course I hate it because this is my weird hill. But yeah, so they show the order. Abilities that trigger after character takes any amount of damage. Again, so they're treating the character as stage 1 and 2 combined, or 2 and 3 if you're playing expert, right? You retaliate. So that's what they're saying now. It just has to be in play. Because I think the way it was worded before was like not defeated or something like that. But because of how when defeated was, whatever. Salsa, welcome to chat. If stage 1 has retaliate but stage 2 doesn't, you won't get hit by retaliate. Correct. You would not get retaliated in that instance. I don't know what that situation is, but that is correct. If stage 1 has it but stage 2 doesn't, you do not get retaliated. Unless they change it. Okay. Reveal. During step 4 of the villain phase, each player in player order reveals cards. Okay. So you follow the steps. So they just wrote out all the steps, I guess. So turn the card face up. If the encounter card's type is an attachment, it enters play attached to the game. Okay. Environment, it's fine. Minion, it's fine. Obligation goes to player. If it specifies the player to give it to that player. Side scheme enters play in the villain's play area. Treachery is placed on a table. It's not in play. Other, placed on the table in front of you, not in play. Resolve each one revealed. If the card's a treachery, discard it. Okay, so just like spelling out revealing more, I guess, to make it easier. That's fine, right? If people had a hard time with when revealed, that's fine. Set icon, this is a new thing they're doing. They're having set icons on things in the bottom of the card. They were always there, but now they're called out. McDonald's was a mistake. Swap. Share a title. Okay, so when swapping a card in play with a card in out of play, if those two cards share a title, neither card is considered to enter or leave play. Tokens, attach cards, tuck cards, and status cards on the previously in play card are transferred to the other card. And the other card maintains the state ready or exhausted of the previous in play card. If the swap card has an associated hit point dial, that dial remains at the same value. Okay. Do not share a tile. They're not transferred over. Interesting. Okay. I don't know how, well, I guess there's certain villains when they swap, right? So like Loki. So, oh, wait. Okay, yeah, this has to do with Loki. Like Loki, we can't stand Loki. So if the swap card has an associated hit point dial, that dial remains the same value. I think there were a bunch of people playing it that every time Loki swapped in, he healed back up. I get what they're doing with this. Let me just show this really quick. So, right, you had all these different stages of Loki. And there were instances where he can get swapped out. And people were like, oh, does it push back up to his 20 hit points? It does not. Yeah, so like this, War in Asgard. When defeated, reveal the top card of the Infinity Stone deck. Swap Loki with a random set aside Loki. So if the swap card's associated hit point dial, that stays the same. So it keeps... Okay, so tokens, attach cards, tuck cards, and status cards on a previous in-play card are transferred to the new one. Okay. That's fine. That's good. I know there's a lot of like confusion with that, if like Loki heals back up or not. So okay. Target. A target that cannot take damage is not a valid target for an ability whose only effect on that target is to deal damage. Okay. An ability with a search effect requires only a searchable game area in order to initiate. Okay. Team up. An ally counts... Wait, the team up keyword names two characters in order to play to include them in the... Okay. Also for Ironheart. Yeah, that's another good one, Jason. Yeah, that's a good one too. An ally counts as a named character if either its title or subtitles match the named character. Oh, yeah, we were doing this anyway. But okay, that's fine for the team-up cards. Tuck. They had to add this, obviously. When a player is instructed to tuck cards, they place the tuck card face up under that card. Tuck cards are not in play or not considered attached to. When it leaves play, each tuck card under it is discarded. Okay. Oh, unique icon. Okay. The unique icon indicates a card that reveals a singular person, place, or thing within the Marvel Universe. 2 unique cards are considered to match if any of the following apply. 2 cards share the same title, and both have no subtitle and no alter ego. For example, 2 copies of Yarnborn Upgrade, or the Jessica Jones Ally and the Jessica Jones Minion. So you can't have a Jessica Jones Ally and Minion in play. The subtitle or alter ego of one of those matches the title, subtitle, or alter ego of another card. For example, the identity of T'Challa alter ego, T'Challa ally, and Black Panther ally with the subtitle T'Challa are all considered to match. Okay, that's fine. A player cannot include multiple copies of cards in their deck. The identity is included in this evaluation. When choosing identities during setup, players cannot choose identities that match. Is that because we're getting another Captain America? The players may choose a scenario even if one or more of the villains match. So again, Magneto versus Magneto, they're letting you do. It's fine. A non-villain card in an out-of-play state that matches a card cannot enter play. Okay. A player card, it cannot be played or put into play. Any effect that attempts to has no effect. A non-villain encounter card is discarded. Any effect of it entering play is ignored. If it was being revealed, any effects of it being revealed are ignored. All right, so yeah, okay, so that'd be like a minion and an ally type thing, right? A non-villain encounter card, okay. So you can use Jubilee and Magneto and Mutant Genesis now? Yeah. Yeah, you should be good with that now. Okay. Okay, that's fine. I have to see when this would actually come up with unique icons. What to refer to this like when we actually play the game and see what it does. And Nebula. Nebula's good too. Victory X, a character size scheme, the victory keyword. Okay, that's fine. An upgrade in the attachment or an upgrade with the victory X keyword. Okay, they had upgrade because they put it on different things. That's fine. Good old villain defeat. The revealing of a minion or a villain cannot be canceled. If the new stage of a villain has the same title as the previous stage, the new stage of the villain is considered the same character as the defeated stage for purposes of the card abilities, such as Retaliate X. Again, unlike what it said before, attachments, upgrades, and status cards, encounters, and non-damage tokens carry over. The villain was defeated while activating. The villain resumes the activation. Okay. If the new stage of the villain has a different title from the previous stage, the new stage of the villain is not considered the same character. This is like, again, Marauders, right, is the example of this. So it doesn't like do that. So they do not carry over. And their activation would end. Okay. They just list out the villain phase, I guess. Listen, while playing Peter Parker Spider-Man versus Rhino. Nice throwback. Nice. Vulnerable. When a character with vulnerable becomes confused or stunned, that character is immediately discarded. Oh, there's a new keyword, so. So wait, would the ally from Project Wide Awake enter if someone is playing Jubilee? My first game in Champions, how the rules get longer. Yeah. Okay, so let's do that with Project Wide Awake, right? What is that? Mutant Genesis, right? So the whole thing is Jubilee's unique, and if she left play, you would lose, right? Or something would happen. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter. So if you're playing Jubilee and this Jubilee who has the same things. So the unique icon indicates a card that represents a singular person, place, or thing. Okay. 2 unique cards are considered a match if any one of the following. The 2 cards share a title and both have no Okay, so they do both have subtitle. So the subtitle or alter ego title of one matches the title and subtitle or alter ego of the other. Okay, so they are a match. So a player cannot include multiple matching cards in their deck. The identity is included. That's fine. When choosing identities during setup, okay, that's not a thing. A non-villain card in an out-of-play state that matches a card plays out of play. So a player card, it cannot be played or put into play. Any effect that attempts to do so has no effect. That's what this would be. Or wait, a non-villain encounter card. If it is discarded, any effect of it entering play are ignored. If it is being revealed, any effects of it being revealed are ignored. So yeah, Jubilee cannot play. Yeah, so you cannot get Jubilee in. Which doesn't that like lose it or something? What happens with that? I guess it just goes away, right? That's something else I'm thinking with Jubilee. It might be the campaign or something. Yeah, I think it's the campaign, right? But yeah, no, you would not be able to put Jubilee in play. You would literally flip this and she would go bye-bye. Oh, Hope. That's what I'm thinking of. Okay, thank you. So I guess if you have the Hope ally on the table, you would lose the game. So don't run the Hope ally. Huh. Because you can't even decide, right? It just says it cannot be played or put in play. So it's not even an option to get rid of yours. Yeah, Jubilee wanted to play, yeah. Huh. Okay. Interesting. So vulnerable is the new keyword. That's fine. They had to do that. Villain defeat coming up. When revealed abilities on the villain main scheme cannot be canceled. That's fine. They're gonna have to errata that if they wanted Jubilee playable. Yeah. I think it makes sense. They both can't be there if they're the same person. I mean, logically it makes sense. So I'm okay with that. So yeah, you just can't play her. Well, hold on, but they said that you could do Magneto versus Magneto. Wasn't that one of the things they said? All right, so if neither card is an identity... All right, so define some monikers are shared by multiple, blah, blah, blah. The previous rules were defined unique to the way that worked in early game, but it's more complex, blah, blah. So because villains do not have subtitles or alter ego titles, they will not match up with an identity except in a few rare cases, namely like Nebula and Vision, where the title or villain or leader matches the alter ego. Since the rules allow you to play... So yeah, you could play Captain America versus Cap, because there is no subtitle. So you could do that. So you could do Magneto versus Magneto. And you can't do Nebula versus Nebula, but you could do Magneto versus Magneto and Captain America versus Captain America. But because Jubilee has an alter ego and under it, it states this, right? So if you looked at Mutant Genesis, since Magneto has no subtitle, that's why you get through it fine. Yeah, Nebula is always Nebula. Yeah. Okay. Okay. We got there, chat. No, it's good to go through. All right, villain defeat. Okay, so if the final stage of the villain deck is defeated, the players win the game. Yeah. Except they said they would let you play it. I know. So the rules allow you to play. So, namely, though, so like where it shows this is there's one matching situation where we choose explicitly, the be in play, whatever. So Magneto versus against Magneto. Oh, since the rules allow you to play Captain America against Captain America or Magneto against Magneto, we decided that you may have Nebula fight Nebula and Vision fight Vision, leaving the players aside. So the rules count until they don't count. So we have that going for us. There's an errata for Jubilee. Oh, good. It's Omniverse. Everything counts. Oh, that's DC. Okay, so the revealing of a villain cannot be canceled. That makes sense. If the new stage of the villain has the same title as the previous stage, the new stage of the villain is considered the same character as defeated stage for the purposes of Retaliate. Again, they keep all the stuff and whatever. Okay, if it's different, we kind of did this. Do whatever you want. It's your game. Yeah. All right, so that's all fine. Oh, vulnerable we did. One reveal we did. Ah, you. Good old you. If sentences use you and or your multiple times, all instances in that sentence refer to the same identity. Okay, that's fine. What's this? You. Resources. Attacks, threats, defenses, or triggered abilities that resolve from a player spending a card that are also considered to be formed by that player's identity. That's fine. Cards that are not considered to be extension of you are allies, supports, encounter cards. Triggered abilities that resolve from an encounter cards are not considered to be performed by the player's identity. Okay. And players' side schemes are not a part of you anymore. That's fine. I don't know if it ever really was, but okay, that's fine. All right, we made it through the main section of the rules. We only lost our mind one time, right? So we got that going for us. So let's next customization. It goes in the setup, card anatomy. We don't have to worry about. Oh, set icons they added. Their new back, alternate back. Okay, so once a future king, while the players are split into separate game areas, whose game area are the environment cards considered to be in? The environment cards are considered to be in all players. Okay. Doc, welcome to chat. I just saw that limited is a direct copy paste from the new Arkham rules. That's why there's so many packs. Arkham has fewer player cards per pack. Ridiculous. Saw that limited. Interesting. All right. Battery pack. Can battery pack move a charge counter to a tech card that does not use charge counters? Yes, they're all purpose. Okay, that's fine. All right. Oh yeah, limited. We'll get into that in a second. In betweener, Living Tribunal, Eternal, and the Gardener. Where does a cosmic entity event go after resolved as a boost card? It is placed in the encounter discard pile. This is the big thing they did with these cosmic entities. New meta, cosmic entities all the way. Let's go. All right, sinister motives. What happens if the villain needs to activate and there are one or more villains in play, but none of them have the active counter? Place the active counter with the lowest activation order value. Okay, so it puts on the lowest one. That's fine. Ironheart, go for champions. Can I trigger an ability that requires taking damage as a cost? No, if you cannot take damage, you cannot pay a cost required to take damage. Okay. If I have played Go for Champions this round, can I trigger an ability that requires... Oh, yeah, you can't take damage. Okay, that makes sense. Spider-Man's Noir, if a Treachery's one revealed ability is canceled, can Spider-Man Noir attach the Treachery to himself? In order for Spider-Man's Treachery response, some part of the Treachery must be resolved. Okay, so you have to resolve some part of it. That's fine. Fabian Cortez. If Fabian Cortez's one defeated ability puts an Acolyte minion with a teamwork play while Fabian Cortez is the only other Acolyte, will the teamwork trigger? No. Since the minion is the last defeated ability. Okay, so it doesn't trigger on Fabian. That's good to know. That's fine. If a dial M for Mojo is in play when Spiral flips, does her Insight 1 keyword trigger? Yes, villains are encounter cards, so dial M for Mojo gives Insight to 1 to Spiral. When Spiral flips, her new face is revealed, meaning her Insight 1 resolves. Okay. Will this be re-uploaded later? Yeah. I'll turn it into a video. Probably tomorrow. After all this, I remember why I stepped away from champions. Deadpool hero back. Crisis of Infinite Deadpools. Is Crisis of Infinite Deadpools including the encounter deck if the ability allows a player to include one or more pool aspect cards from outside? Oh, fun. Okay. So wait. Is Crisis of Infinite Deadpools including the encounter deck if an ability allows a player to include one or more pool aspect cards from outside of the chosen aspect? This is interesting because that's like Spider-Woman or yeah, Spider-Woman. No, not Spider-Woman. Like Gamora, I guess, right? Okay. That's fine. Interesting. Yeah, campaign is another one. Yeah. I think Gamora would be the big one, right? Because I think Warlock you choose the 4. Spider-Woman you have to choose 2 aspects. I'm trying to think if there's another hero that does it. But yeah, that's interesting. Okay. That's good. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Can I include just 1 or 2 shield supports from aspects other than my chosen aspect from Maria Hill? Okay, so no, you have to do all 3. So it's all or nothing. Okay. Cyclops allies, that's another good one. Yeah, if they had any. Because I don't think they have any for Deadpool, right? Yeah, I don't think Pool has mutants, but that, yeah, it's another good example. When Nick Fury's stealth suit form changes the villain's activation through a scheme, what happens if the villain's confused? The interruptibility of stealth causes the villain activation to reinitiate. This time as a scheme activation, so that the confused status will cancel the activation. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. The elephant's trunk. Can I satisfy the cost of elephant's trunk action ability if I exhaust the elephant's trunk itself? Yes. Yeah, you could do that. That's fine. Target spotter. If I use target spotter on a minion revealed by another player, does that minion ever engage that other player? No, target spotter interrupts engagement of that minion that causes the engaged player to use target spotter. So it has to be your own. It can't be someone else's. Errata, Black Widow, 1A. Hero pack. Shuri response. After resolve the ability of a prep card you control, deal 1 damage to an enemy. That's just cleaning up words, right? What is it? After you trigger the ability of a prep card you control, deal 1 damage to an enemy. After resolve. Yeah, so that's just cleaning up the words. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Pool has Negasonic, but she's X-Force. Okay. Alright, so let's clean up those words. That's fine. Rise of Red Skull should say, set up, put the red house into play, shuffle every other encounter side scheme into the side scheme deck and set next to the encounter deck. Set the sleeper side out of play. Added encounter before side scheme. Okay, that's fine. Bitter Rival should read, for each side scheme in play, choose and exhaust a character you control. What did Bitter Rival used to say? Exhaust the character you control for each side scheme in play. For each side scheme in play, choose and exhaust. Oh, okay. Yeah, they're just tightening the words on that. That's fine. Okay, cool. Beetle. When Beetle is defeated, the defeating player chooses to either spend a fist resource or shuffle Beetle in the counter deck. Specify which player should resolve the ability. That's fine. They did fix Crossbones scheme mod set. Oh yeah. Compared to the hero, or compared to what the book says. Infinity Gauntlet should read attached to villain. Oh, that's funny. Okay, that's fine. Eros. Nebula's Hero Pack should read, after you play arrows from your hand for each mental resource you use to play from, choose a minion, confuse it. To update for each. Okay, that's fine. Morbius should read force response after the engaged player generates any number of resources, deal an equal amount of damage to the player's hero. Change engaged hero to engaged player, and that hero to player's hero. Okay, that's fine. Hydra Assault, not Hydra Patrol, yeah. Mutants at the Mall. Okay, should read. When defeated, the first player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a Sentinel minion and reveals it. Flip this card and put Jubilee into play, discarding any other ally version of Jubilee from play. Wait. Wait. No, it wasn't Master Mode, it was Sentinels. As before, it would discard the identity that they died ally. They added ally. Yeah, but we already said from this whole matching thing you couldn't do it. Like, that was the whole thing we did with matching before. So, hold on. What was that unique I think it was under? QRS. There we go. So a unique icon indicates you won't keep Wolverine Jubilee. Technically, if you played Jubilee as a hero, it was an auto loss, but you would still lose it though. Like, you wouldn't. It wouldn't. Hold on. So, okay. The unique icon indicates a singular person, place, or thing with Marvel Universe, right? Two unique cards are considered a match if the two cards share a title and both have... Okay, not that one. The subtitle or alter ego title of one matches the title and subtitle of the other, which it does, right? Because it says Jubilation Lee. Because it says that if the hero was in play, you would not put this card into play. That was the whole thing, is that you couldn't play that. So a player cannot... Wait, where is it? Where is it? When choosing identities, that's fine. A non-villain card in an out-of-play area that matches a card play cannot enter play. If the out-of-player card is a player card, it cannot be played or put into play. Any effect that attempts to do so has no effect. So yeah, we would get rid of... Oh god, that is really confusing. So the... Okay, now hold on. It's coming together now. So it's specifically saying that you wouldn't auto-kill Jubilee, the hero. You kill the ally hero. Then when this one comes into play, you get rid of this Jubilee and not your hero Jubilee. I think that's the transition, right? That's where we're getting to now. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. I had to just read it a few times. We got there. Okay. That makes sense in a very weird way. Okay, that's fine. Arrows, mutants to them all. That's fine. Okay, makes sense. All right, so Asteroid M should read force response after you play. Oh, this is the magnet counter thing. We talked about this. This is how we've been doing it. You remove the magnet counters before it's revealed. We've been wanting this for a long time. They finally did it. And they did it for all three. Okay, perfect. All right, Rogue. Anna Marie. Flip your touch upgrade and set aside. After you change this form, find touch set aside. Now it says find. Okay. Find touch and attach it to another character. You gained the attached character's trait until the end of the round. Limit once per round. Change attach touch to find touch and attach it. Okay. I don't think that changes anything too crazy. Energy transfer, find touch and attach it to a character other than Rogue and deal 2 damage to that character, heal 2 damage from Rogue and ready her. You gain each of the traits. Attach touch to find touch and attach it. Okay, so you still just find it. I think that's fine. Mystique's manipulations. When defeated, the player defeating searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a copy of Misled Treachery and shuffles into their deck. So specify who should. Okay, that's fine. Okay. I saw somebody on Discord like freaking out that something about rogue changes was like really bad. And I can't off the top of my head think of what it is. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I have to read what it is because I hadn't read this yet. So okay. Suit up we talked about. This is a good change. I like this. Search your deck and discard pile for an ally and upgrade that can be attached to an ally. Add them to your hand. Change can be attached to that ally to can be attached to an ally. So it could be any ally that's out there. I like that. Just to make sure they touch. Yeah. Salsa. That's yeah. I mean, it makes sense to me of what they wanted. So that's fine. All right, so the rogue ally, deal 1 damage to another friendly character. Until the end of the round, rogue gains each of the character's traits and adds that character's base thwart and attack to her power. Change printed to base. Okay. I think we were always kind of doing that. Like if they had modified stuff, we weren't doing the modified, but that's fine. Tweedledope. Remove the star icon from the boost field. Okay. Magneto. Discard a minion with wrapped in metal, then deal 5 damage to enemy. Wait. Did Magic Missile just get much better? Oh, wait. Hold on. I gotta read then. Because I want to get too excited. The effect includes then. The text preceding the word then must be fully true and resolved for the remainder effect. Okay. What's the difference between this and cost arrows? I don't understand. Okay. The effect of a text of an ability includes the word then. The text preceding the word then must be fully true and resolved before the remainder of the effect can be resolved. If pretext fully resolved, then post-text. I still don't understand fully why they have then and why they have cost arrows. Like, it's the same exact thing. Okay. I got a little too excited there. X instead of a printed number. So, yeah. Okay. If anyone knows why it's important that this now says then instead of the cost arrow, please let me know. It's lack of terminology memory, but they have 2 different ones for it. Like, we all know that, like, either do the cost arrow or do then. I don't get why it has to be changed on this card. Yeah, but that would be for, like, why does it have to change here? That's what I understand. Like, we have cost arrow on other cards. Frontline Specialist now gives HP in Alter Ego mode. Which did similar to Valk's Pegasus. Ooh, that's interesting. Alright, whatever. So, Depth Focus classification should be basic instead of protection. Oh, that's right. I saw some of the cards had that error. Exodus should read Force Response after Exodus attacks you. Discard cards from the top of the deck equal to the total attack. Oh, that's fine, yeah. I assume you can't discard a card you don't control as a cost? Maybe? I don't know. It still says a minion. I don't know. Alright. Radiation exposure. The scheme modifier in this card should be a thwart modifier. That's fine. Mach 5. Each character without an aerial trait cannot defend against Mach 5's forward attack. Change make basic defense to defend. That's fine. That was the whole ally thing that talked about in the beginning. Eidatic memory should interrupt when you reveal a card from the same encounter set as a tucked away when you reveal a card from the same encounter set as a tucked card from under your identity, exhaust eidatic memory, swap those cards, reveal the card that has been tucked under your identity. Change Silk to your identity. Okay, that's fine. By the way, it seems like Twitch comments aren't going through. Oh, yeah. You guys have been talking. Why is it not coming up? Hold on. Thank you for catching that. Chat client has been disconnected. Man, we're having a day. Hold on 1 second. Let me close out of chat. It's going to reset the whole thing. Close it out. All right, let's try to reopen chat and see what happens. All right, Twitch, are you back? Okay, there we go. Oh, Twitch, I'm so sorry. Canadian, it was makes the game much worse. It's so much better than read the cards and ignore anything past the basic turn actions. A superhero card game tip from Sentinels. For really good things about Sentinels. Yeah, I heard some good things about Sentinels too. Still massively prefer Lord of the Rings, but Marvel Champions can be fun. Definitive Edition fixed a lot of tempo of the game. Okay. Alright. Alright, we're good. I apologize, Twitch. I'm sorry about that. You're back. My test comment. There you go. I know. All I know is I'm upstairs. I'm listening to my Will Smith CD and going. Oh wait, Matterford. I remember you saying that a while ago. Now all of a sudden it's going through. We're having a good time, chat. All right. So eidetic memory. When you reveal a card from the same encounter set, it's under your identity. Says Silk. That's fine. Does that change a lot? Oh, I guess when your alter ego, you can now use it. Hey, Heiser. Yeah, okay. So this card in the past, you couldn't use it on your alter ego side. Now you can. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Winter Soldier Hero Pack. Should be attached to a friendly character. Maximum per character. Okay, so you can't stack Shield Deputy. That's fine. All right, we finally got to the big one, the environments. Okay, let's talk about some environments. Heiser.
Did Thanos get solved when defeated?
Yeah, Thanos will retaliate against us, I guess. Also, thank you for using your Prime sub, dude. Appreciate the support. Yeah, I think it'll affect you. We're talking about unique cards. I get really confused when the villain and your nemesis are the same. If you hit shadows, does the nemesis come into play? No. So your nemesis would not come into play with that. But what would happen is a really terrible thing happens, if I remember correctly. So, reveal your set aside nemesis minion and put it into play, engage with you. Reveal your set aside one. So, it would not come into play. And if that's the case, the side scheme would. You shuffle everything else in. And then if your nemesis minion does not enter the game this way, the card would surge. So, it'd be really bad. And that assumes the nemesis and the villain have no subtext to it too. But yeah, it's one of like the terrible things with this, that the card surges them. You also can't play Face the Past. Yes, that is a good point as well. Actually, I've played so little of that. What is it in? Age of Apocalypse? No. What was that in? I don't even remember where it was. The Magneto pack? Oh, that's right, because it's not an encounter card. You're right. So face the past, search the encounter deck, discard pile inside that area for your nemesis minion, reveal it. Yeah. So you cannot do it. I was working out and thought you finished. Did you do the retaliate thing? Yeah. Retaliate basically works the way that they switched to the most recent way. Retaliate now works. Let me phrase that. Retaliate now works where if stage 2 comes in with retaliate, you get retaliated. But if stage 2 doesn't have retaliate, you don't get retaliated. Also happy to hear you're working out, dude. So that's the new rolling with it. Whatever. Attacking Gamora. Yeah. All right, so environments. When prepping for the game, a group of players may choose an environment for that game or may decide to allow each player to choose their own environment for that game. The game environment establishes which Marvel Champions products can be used during player deck customization for that game. So again, this only has to do with player decks. By choosing to use a smaller environment, players can test their creativity and skill in customizing their players' decks using a smaller pool of player cards. Player game environment. Player customizes their deck using only cards included in the products designated by that environment. This includes the choice of which hero to play as. A group may choose to play any scenario in any modular sets regardless of the environment. So, are you happy about that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I can't stand it. I still don't think it should work that way. I just do what I want and I guess I can keep buying stuff. Yeah. Okay, so again, the environments only have to do with player cards, not encounter cards, for whatever that's worth. So the current environment, it consists of the most recently released Marvel Champions products in addition to the core set. The current environment includes the following products: the core set, the expansions Age of Apocalypse, Shield, and Civil War. You have their fun symbols now. And then the hero packs: Iceman, Jubilee, Nightcrawler, Magneto, Black Panther, Silk, Falcon, Winter Soldier, Wonder Man, and Hercules. All products released since the most recent version of this document was published. Okay, so so Daredevil will be part of the current environment as well. So we'll get a fourth one. Why are there rules for this? It's literally just setting restrictions. You could do, yes, I agree. When I first glanced at this, I was like, this is so overblown and overhyped. Not overhyped, just overblown. This should have never been a thing. Just should have never been a thing. Legacy environment is all of it. Okay, that's simple. Then they introduced limited environment, which is just, okay. So a limited environment allows a player who owns a number of older products to continue to play those products while still reaping the benefits of playing within a smaller environment. To play a limited environment, a player customizes their deck using the following: Marvel Champions, the core game, up to 3 campaigns and or custom scenario expansions, and up to 10 hero packs. While any expansion or hero pack may be chosen for a limited environment, and finding creative combinations or products from which to build could be an enjoyable experience for deck building enthusiasts. A number of past Marvel Champions products were developed together in waves. As a starting point for creating a limited environment, we recommend selecting 3 waves of related products to explore the synergies between those cards and branching out to other more creative combinations only after growing more familiar with the card pool. The waves of the production are as follows, right? So Captain America, Hero Pack, like the different waves, right? They just spell out the waves and that's it. After all the legacy and current environment talk, it is nothing. It's just nothing. I'm sorry, like this. I feel like this was so overblown with current and legacy when they first brought it out, because they're okay. They're just saying play how you want and doing different things, which like, okay, like we were doing this anyway, right? If you were like really want to be creative with your deck building, like you can just do that thing, right? It's not an issue whatsoever. If you wanted to limit the cards you use, I mean, we do that on this channel, right? Other channels do it. They limit the cards they can use. They limit all this stuff. People were doing this anyway. And I don't understand why we had to spell this out and cause so much grief about this for 11 months now. I don't know, man. Makes no sense, but I can see this being a thing for PvP. But either way, I'm going to guess PvP is done also. There's going to be way more to this, but then they had to scale down everything because of the initial backlash. I mean, watch me not sort my game. Oh, I'm not sorting my game this way. Absolutely not. Sorry, Caleb. D20 says we could do what we want. Well, it's Tony now. Caleb doesn't care. Caleb's like, do what you want. They're trying to make us buy remade old heroes again. Shed, welcome to chat. No, I don't think so. I think it's supposed to be what's already in your collection. But they are going to remake, right, Captain America and whatnot. So this is PR speak to get people ready for reprints, not called reprints to sell stuff again. And that's how I am, I guess. Yeah, I feel like they're putting that in for newer players, helping them learn the game in a digestible way. Some players only do what the rules say. I think they're running out of heroes. I think the only important question is, will current be evergreen? No, current will not be evergreen. I will tell you that for sure. It will not be. There is no doubt in my mind that when something's evergreen, they will announce it's evergreen, just like Arkham Horror has. They had certain cards in the Transformers TCG community, and when the custom community took over, just a mess. Yeah, it's just like, again, they when they first spelt it out, and okay, so there's multiple layers to this, right? The issue that everyone had with current and legacy environment was twofold in the beginning. So one, it was, wait, can I no longer play legacy cards and I have to play current? That's not what it means, right? We now understand that legacy is just play everything that you have. Current's only playing the newer recent stuff. Okay. That was everyone's initial worry. Then the next worry on top of it was, okay, if it goes to legacy, is it not being printed again? Because then out of print day happened a couple months ago, and everyone freaked out about it. And is that what that means? Now, FFG has said in a live stream that, no, that's not what that means. Is it though? Is it? I'm pretty sure it is. Like, if it's not in the current environment and it's now legacy, it's just going to be gone, right? Unless they suddenly decide we're going to reprint all the old stuff, which maybe they do, but that's not what's kind of been happening with this or Arkham. And to a point, I guess Lord of the Rings with like the older stuff, not the new stuff. So, okay. It was all this hemming and hawing when they could have just said right away, hey, all it is the recent stuff and the old stuff, play how you want. They really even should have never really brought any of this stuff up. they really should have just like announced the environment in this rule book, and people would just went, okay, that's fine, I guess. That's all right. And then like we would have kind of moved on. I would have literally just ignored this, to be honest. Like if I knew nothing about game environments beforehand, before all the anxiousness and whatnot, I would have just went, huh. Okay, that's weird. That's a weird thing that they're doing with game environments, I guess. Whatever. And I would have just kind of moved on. I think everyone would have moved on. And maybe a few people in Discord or like Reddit would be like, hey, what's this about? And whatever. But that's it. That's it. It would not have been this big ordeal. We did a video as of this live stream today. We not did it, but we recorded today with Boom Guy and Nelson and myself. And I think Boom Guy says it perfectly. They just they can't stop getting in their own way. And this is like a perfect example. Perfect example. There was no reason to bring it up the first time. And again, I still think the head of studio that brought it up kind of did it on a whim, because I'm sure this is what they thought. It's not a big deal or whatever, but it became a big deal because they announced he's not a PR communications guy. He's not a marketing guy. He should have never mentioned it. So much would have been alleviated. So much. My gaming group recently did a campaign where we could use any card but couldn't use any X-Men X-Force allies for thematic reasoning. Yeah, players have been playing how they wanted to for years. Exactly, Heiser. There are so many groups that would just be like, hey, are we all playing Avengers today? Yeah, we're good with Avengers. Or hey, do we want to do some mixing and matching? Like you play X-Men, I'll play Web Warriors, whatever. We've done that on different live streams. Like, cool. Like, again, we've all done this. We're going to ban the only 2 double pip action cards in the game and replace them with bad versions is what basically happened. Player base less than 50. The statement should have always been, if you're using busted combos and don't like it, then stop using busted combos. We've developed the game based on fun. Agreed, Mike. Agreed. Just, it's your game. And that's the other thing that's the weird messaging, is they'll constantly come out with these things, with these environments and like what's new and whatever. And be like, but it's your game. Play how you want. Even in the article, right? Since the rules allow you to play Captain America against Captain America or Magneto against Magneto, we decided that you may have Nebula fight Nebula and Vision fight Vision, leave it to the players deciding how they want to do their own matchups. Like, you're already saying in the article, like, I mean, I know it's against the rules, but just play how you want, right? You've been telling us forever, just play how you want. Just play how you want. There was no reason to do this. So do we like it, or the new rules jank? Overall, the rules, I'll tell you my new hill I'm gonna die on. Where is it? Where is that stupid thing? I'm still angry deep down. What was it? Leave. It was something with leave, right? I found my new retaliate. Leaves play. God, this is my new hill. This section is my new hill to die on. They need to fix this because this is just utterly confusing and doesn't make any sense. Okay. They could have just said play how you want. Yep. Agreed 100%. Don't announce it. Just read here. Yeah, exactly. If I knew nothing and I just read that last page, I would be like, weird. Huh. Okay. And maybe we could have some fun speculating on some things like, oh, are you going to play current? You're going to play legacy? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, are they trying to do something with cycles or whatever? Like, yeah, maybe some of that conversation would have been happen. But it wouldn't have been as crazy as it was. It's just like people going, am I selling my whole collection? Am I not buying anything? Because now I have legacy and now it's split and whatever. And just, okay. But they wanted to sell old products to show Marvel Champs was selling, boost the sales maybe. I was always going to play legacy. Anyways, and they said that the older heroes would be different from the original version, so yeah, it's not much scheme. I think the original plan for the environments changed. It would be nice to know if that was the case. Also, for my design experience with companies, online feedback is about 30% of the player base. A lot of folks just buy and play and don't interact with the online community. Yeah. Beast now. They could have said, from now on, new expansion powers will only be based on the last 3 cycles. Also, we aren't printing the old stuff anymore. It sucks to suck. Yeah. Beast now, you put it better than they did. They're putting PB in the corner. So they're hoping that the loudest voices are also the smallest. Just tell fans to play how they want. Yeah. I love the hills D20 will die on. Let me get my flag. May make a meme tonight. D20 is becoming a Kingdom Hearts villain. It doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, this doesn't make this just doesn't. It should not contradict another section of the game where you also don't tell me to not see that also section. That's gonna drive me up a wall. That's gonna drive me up a wall. I get what they're saying. I do, and I understand what it's saying. This is just bad. Like, this is just a bad section that needs to be fixed. Don't say leaves play with a car, or I'm sorry, defeating a character, right? That's not what you mean. Just fix it for simplicity's sake, or say see also when defeat a villain. I also like the other one. What was the other one we were memeing on earlier that I enjoyed? Oh wait, let me find it for you, chat, in case people are coming in late. What was it? Not absolute. It was not permanent. Link 5 stream watch, dude. Appreciate it. I cannot. Thank you for the hydrate. The old cannot ruling. The word cannot is absolute and cannot be countermanded by other abilities or effects. An ability can override a rule with cannot, per the golden rules. So it's not absolute. Got it. Okay. Okay. FFG rules for Marvel Champions have a history of being overly bad, and anytime they are able, they will shoot themselves in the foot 100%. I have been hearing some buzzing that even SWU is having major issues in stores right now. Product not selling. If SWU ends up failing, that will be such a fumble. What's crazy, Canadian, is I've also been hearing that. I've been hearing that not even from Reddit and such. I've been hearing it from just people in Discords and groups I'm a part of that like we just talk and whatever. Because I like SWU, right? Obviously I'm a SWU fan. And I am also hearing that like their stores that used to have like large groups and now it's like a couple people, right? It's ugh. Also, Link, thank you for the hydrate out of my Rogue Energy drink, who's now a sponsor of this channel. Make sure you use the link, get your 10% off, support this channel. Sorry, I have to do it. I have to do it, chat. His name is XDX20X when My Chemical Romance is playing. Did my stream just crash because of that? Thank you. I just check Apocalypse. When he upgrades, he leaves play, but isn't defeated. So does he lose his attachments? Hold on. Are we back on this? I love it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Four Horsemen. This isn't it, is it? That's right. They organized this differently. There he is. Ensabadner. Yeah, I guess he changes form. I don't know what changes forms. I don't know. I can't even think about that. If SWU fumbles, then FFG will focus on Marvel Champions and Arkham Horror. Yes. The issue with that, though, is that they have $800 billion of debt. And SWU sells a lot. Like, a lot. A lot. So... do not tell me what I can do when I rock. They have tons of stock, and my LGS quit supporting SWU. They have pivoted to Marvel Champions due to declining sales of SWU. We need new D20 t-shirts with the replacement of Retaliate. So we're playing Maria Hill versus Infinity Gauntlet and Loki? Not tonight. I've heard a couple of retailers mention that they are selling boxes like 50% off because they have too much. Dude, if you look on Amazon, the boxes are cheap. Cannot, thank you. Justin, welcome to chat, dude. Don't most games gradually die out when there isn't much disruption in how the game plays? Dice Masters? Yeah. Probably the majority of it. There are examples of games that haven't, like Ashes Reborn, right? I think it's a perfect example, but they did do major differences. But Ashes has been around for 10, 11 years now. But you can argue in the past like year, they changed it, so now it's like solo play and whatever. So you're right. There would have to be major changes to said game. Sure. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Now that I think through that more, that's fine. Oh, the first one. My bad. Maybe. In the play, out of play. Yeah, so face down is out of play. I think you're right. Apocalypse 1, that would be in play to out of play. I think Apocalypse 2 too, because you're switching it. And if it's going out of play, if the same as I think, that's interesting. Yeah, Jason, I have to think about that. Because now I'm scared to pull the trigger on that. But maybe, yeah. These rules aren't that bad, to be honest. I always try to be positive. The dead team, as having a project manager who won't listen to someone messing up stuff really messes with the game. So here's the thing. There are three things that annoy me about these rules, right? So obviously I'm upset about Retaliate, and I always will be upset. I don't like the leaves play thing and how it's done, and I do not like cannot. Out of these three things, there was 100 things that we said that were good. So their failure rate, the D20 failure rate, which literally means nothing, is like 3%. So they nailed 97% of the rules. Again, how much of this did we read through that went, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, okay, that's good. That's good. Or there's a couple things that were like, oh, that change is better. That makes sense, whatever. It's fine. They didn't do any major overhauls with things, it feels like. They did like a couple small things, but nothing too crazy. I'm thinking back to like 1.4 was like the really like the massive rule haul, maybe 1.5 to a point. So there's nothing like massive in here that they changed. They just cleaned up a lot of stuff, which is important for Tony to clean up stuff. I think that's inherently a good thing, because we need to get everything on the same page. You need a golden gold card that says cannot this. Swoo is very likely keeping the ship afloat. Swoo failing means a lot of games are getting shut down. I do. Swoo needs to do well for FFG. Swoo is their growth stock, and the MC and Arkham Horror is their blue chips. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if the sales are steady. I think if Marvel okay. This is D20 speculating for a second. Okay, just speculation for a second. I think the reason that they're doing a new series of Arkham is because they need a starting point to get people back into the game. I think with everything they've done recently, too many people have fallen out of the game because they're just like, I don't know anymore. Like there's just too much stuff. And that's why everything's out of print right now, right? Like not everything. I'm sorry. Almost everything is out of print. They're going to just say, don't even worry about that stuff, new players, because we need the new players to come in. Because I'm going to assume that they've been slowly bleeding out players over time. And that's natural, right? That's every game. That's not an FFG problem. That's just every game naturally bleeds out people over time. I think where Ash's ascendancy was smart was because they did a Kickstarter to get the hype back on. And it was a very successful Kickstarter. FFG is looking into doing Kickstarting in the future, right? They've said this, but with board games, not card games, but with board games. So I think that's a way of getting those players back onto the bandwagon. So tin hat foil theory, whatever, I think is going to reason they're starting Arkham basically from brand new and just saying this is it is because they just want to start simple and get people into the game again. And they're really hoping that the old players will just buy into it no matter what. My guess is in a year, maybe 2 years. Well, when I say a year, 2027, right? 2026, we know. 2027, maybe 2028. I would assume they do the same thing with Marvel Champions, right? You get your new core box. I have no evidence of this, but just a gut feeling. You do the new core box because you need to get all these new people back in, hoping that we get into those things, right? They change the core box up a little bit or whatever, tighten the rules, yada, yada, yada. And then that's when you can start selling us Captain America again, because those are your big money makers, right? Your Captain Americas, your Hulk hero pack, Doctor Strange, right? Your X-Men stuff or your big stuff. So I think that's what they're going to have to do at some point. And I think they're doing it with Arkham now and kind of testing it out. And there's a chance that it fails with Arkham, right? Like nobody buys into the second edition. Like all the old players are like, nah, I'm done. New players it doesn't sell well to. Then they could pivot on Marvel Champions and go, oh yeah, we're not doing that. Because Marvel Champions, from my understanding, makes more money than Arkham. It's not like a ton more, but makes some more money than Arkham. They can just go, oh yeah, that was a terrible idea. We're not going to do that. And they can just figure out the Arkham problem later. Complete guess and speculation. So my local game store is selling Swoo half off and it's coming out too fast, and Magic the Gathering One Piece competes with it. Yeah. And the thing is, like, Swoo is really good and really fun. So it's a shame, but TCG space is really hard. How many TCGs fail? Serious question. Never played Valk. What scenario should I use her first? Landmark decision, so think it through. Do it something simple. Something easy. Absorbing Man or whatever, but put minions in. You just need like simple minions to play against. So if you do like Absorbing Man and put in like an encounter set with minions in it, you'll have more fun that way. Anything that has basic, simple minions in it will be good. That's what I would go with. And nothing with tough, because tough will slow you down too much until you learn how to like navigate her. Gundam TCG is a dying ship, but it's cool. Yeah. As a noob, what is Star Wars Unlimited, Justin? I go to Absorbing Man or Mugen Formula. As long as you put in minions. Just specifically going from 2 to 3. Well, even 1 to 2 is making an in-play card to add a play. So right? Because out of play is, let's double check this in case I'm wrong. Out of play is just face down cards as well. Obligation. Wait, is it in play, out of play? Is that why I'm looking in the wrong area? Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, so card is out of play. Event cards are blah, blah, blah. Okay. Face down cards attached to in play cards are out of play. So that would be that, right? So it's the same card. Any cards that have been removed from play, a card that leaves play. There you go. If a card is double-sided, having game text on each side, the face down side is out of play. So I think even when it's 1-2 and it's flipping over, that's going from out of play to in play, or in play to out of play. The one rule that blew me away that I was playing wrong at first was the requesting actions on another player's turn. New players need to know you can make the call Maria Hill on other folks. Yeah. I don't know. The Arkham community seemed overwhelmingly negative. I tend to agree with why. I don't think FFG is going to successfully have the long timers buy into the new stuff. The Arkham stuff is going to be really interesting to see. It's going to be really interesting to see. So the Arkham, you're right. If you read, okay, so I know a lot of people online are like, oh man, the Marvel Champions community is so depressing and negative. It's not, comparatively. So it is, Arkham is just a death spiral right now in their engaged community. Not necessarily the new community that hasn't come in, right? But just the hardcore players, they are beyond negative right now. Like if you think that Marvel Champions is negative, go check that out because it's really bad over there. Transformers TCG got killed by the pandemic. That's sad. Why is FFG in debt? So FFG is owned by Asmodee, and Asmodee was owned or got bought out by Embracer. So Embracer is the people that make like the video games and stuff like that. But they bought Asmodee. Embracer is really good at running up debt, it turns out. Like they have an insane amount of debt, billions of dollars of debt. So they decided in their wisdom that Embracer would spin off Asmodee and make it its own thing and just say, go away. Go be publicly traded in your own company, and Asmodee still owns Fantasy Flight Games. But in doing so, they had to take on $800 million of debt, I think it was. I think that's the number, but that's what it's from. It's not necessarily bad FFG business practices. It's, they originally got, Asmodee got bought out by Embracer, and then Embracer had spun it off so they can get rid of some of their debt, basically. So generally speaking, we don't know this for sure, but Asmodee, since they took in all that debt, will, generally speaking, most times when businesses do this, they'll say, hey, FFG, you make X amount, so you get X amount of debt. So FFG needs to do well to help pay off that debt. They don't technically own all $800 million of debt. Asmodee does, but they will own a portion of that debt that they have to work to. We don't know the logistics of it. I'd be very, very surprised if Asmodee said, FFG, you have none of this debt, right? But they most likely have some and probably a decent amount. I like SWU, but like most TCGs, it's an expensive hobby, and I would rather get something throughout the year like Marvel Champions and not spend time chasing the meta. Yeah. I'm telling you, the new meta is going to be the Cosmic Entity cards. It's also tough because the consensus is that Arkham Horror peaked at cycle 2-3. With those going out of print, I think it's going to be hard to hook people. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, as me as a player has played it, I would mostly recommend those cycles to people, right? That's what I recommend. And now there's just no way to get it. Jason, Embracer spun off Asmodee. Yep. Do you think FFG will launch a new co-op LCG? Not anytime soon. I don't know who's working on it. Let me put it that way. Unless Nate French is working on something in the background, I don't know who's left. I think Caleb's happy doing his Star Wars deck builder thing. They put a lot of resources and manpower into Arkham because Arkham has 3 designers, right? Duke and 2 other people I don't remember. Sorry, other people. And then Marvel Champions now has 3 designers. I don't think they have the manpower to do another one unless someone does it on their own and pitches it. So in my interviews with Caleb and MJ, they've talked about this where they have basically done it on their free time and then pitched it to Asmodee, or I'm sorry, to Fantasy Flight Games. And Fantasy Flight Games will then be like yay or nay. So it's possible in that sense, but it's not like FFG will be like, hey, let's go get certain IP and go do this thing. Not all the time, at least. So it is possible, but I don't think FFG is actively doing it. Like, I don't think they're actively paying someone right now to just design a game. I think they're doing it on their own. They were smart with Marvel Champs compared to Arkham because even with rules being overwhelming, Marvel Champs feels casual enough to pick up and play. Yeah. The smartest thing Marvel Champions did was have the 15 base set cards. It made it so much easier. Really, just deciding that certain things are real based on nothing, aka Core Box 2. I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be a thing. Let me live my dream. Are you gonna upload the rule reference talk on the video tomorrow? Yeah. The video will be by itself, and I'll cut out all the extra stuff we had and when our stream crashed. Shmanny, welcome in chat, my 1%er. Fingers up for 1%. Caught the video with Boom Guy and Nelson today. Crazy that the rules dropped the same day. I know. I really thought it'd be tomorrow. I'm upset. I was one day off. I submitted a resume and make some cards. Can you imagine? That'd be hilarious, dude. They still have their unused Android IP. Well, it's used with Wizards, right? Android Netrunner. So I'm not sure how that works exactly. I mean, they have Legend of the Five Rings. They have Game of Thrones they can get back into, which they're doing the Dunk and Egg series soon. Come on, let's go. So they can get back into Game of Thrones if they want to. Legend of the Five Rings. They could do a lot more with Star Wars if they really wanted to. I'm surprised they haven't done a Marvel TCG, but that's a whole nother thing. Lord of the Rings. I would like to think, the game is dead, even though it's officially never dead, right? There's things I would like to say. I think a SWU co-op would sell very well. I think so too. I think it would do really well. My dream would be a new Star Wars LCG. The only reason I don't think that will happen right now is because Caleb is working on the deck builder. So unless someone's doing it on their own, which is entirely possible, but because they're working on a deck builder, I think they want that to be money. I would love DC Champions, but you also would have to do that different. You'll be fascinating. So speaking about that, okay, because they're doing DC Legendary. DC Legendary is like 90% the same game as Marvel Legendary, and I want to know how well it sells. Because if it sells pretty well, Fantasy Flight might look at that and go, if we just tweak Marvel Champions to DC Champions, they could explore different ages of Middle Earth. There's a lot they could do. I know Caleb said he's done with it and whatever, but it'd be nice if somebody picked it up. Gonna send you something fun. All right. I always forget they are the ones that do Twilight Imperium. Yeah. Talk about a dedicated base too. That opens up new heroes and enemies and theirs. But I think something is happening with the Game of Thrones gaming license next year. The minis game is in limbo right now. Okay. Well, and Upper Deck just did the Game of Thrones board game with the legendary system, where it's the first. I think it's the first legendary system that's PvP. Innsmouth was my last until Vale and Drown City for Arkham and campaign only. Marvel would like that. FFG has a different relationship to them than Legendary. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, because obviously, like, Legendary's done, Upper Deck has done it, and Simon has done it. So it's not like it's unprecedented. So it would be interesting to see what the licensing is for that. But I'm sure that would be a rights issue with how tight-fisted the Tolkien estate is. Are they? So when I talked to Caleb about the Tolkien estate, when he was doing it, he was talking about how, like, the Tolkien people were just, like, so easy. Like, they just, like, I think he said this in the podcast, or maybe he said it to me after the fact. But they were just like, yeah, whatever. Sounds good. But maybe that's changed. I mean, that was like 10 years ago. So could you imagine the rulebook they would make telling you that they can't play DC Champions or Marvel Champions? Yeah. Well, that's the thing with Legendary. Even though the Legendary icons have a Hulk fist, which they can still put in the DC Legendary cards, they have to put different, like, trademarks and copyrights on the backs of cards. Cannot. I still play the game with core investigators as well as the first 3 expansions. For, yeah, Arkham. Yeah, I mean, Arkham is solid. Like I said, I think next year we're going to spend a lot of time playing Arkham. What was your quick take on 1.7? There's 3 things I don't like. I don't like the cannot ruling because it's just funny. I don't like the retaliate ruling because it's the opposite of what I want, but that's just me being selfish. And I don't like this leaves play clarification. I think this is annoying. The rest of it's fine. There's nothing too drastic in it, to be honest. I think it used to be tight, and now that Sen is no longer responsible, it's been pretty loose. Okay. Yeah, maybe they care more about the movies and TV shows, and they figure no one's going to play those games. So many people have rights to Lord of the Rings now. That's true, too. So what do you feel about the last few expansions for Arkham? It's rough. It's rough. So, here are my quick thoughts. What's an IP that doesn't have a card game that's like Champions of Work, not Star Wars or DC? Mortal Kombat would be fun. Like a fighting game, I think would be fun. Transformers. We had a bunch before that we did. I have to think about more. Okay, so I'm going to start from Edge of the Earth, right? When they started doing the new boxes. So, Edge of the Earth, I can't stand. I think it's a terrible box. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a good one, too. Mega Man, that's a good one. So, Edge of the Earth, I can't stand this box. I think it's terrible. I'm sorry. If you watch Nelson and I play it, like literally he would read for 45 minutes and I would just like leave the stream. So don't like it. Scarlet Keys was better in a sense, but Scarlet Keys, there's so many times when you visit locations you're not supposed to yet and you don't know, that all of a sudden it's just like, I can't do anything here, and it's a waste of time and a waste of a day. So I think multiple plays will be better. Feast was pretty decent with the 3-day thing. It was better and I enjoyed it more. The Drowned City I have not played yet, but I heard it's like really easy, which I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't think any rule. I don't think anything rule changes nerf any heroes, right? No. Street Fighter, G.I. Joe, Dragon Ball, Harry Potter. Any anime series? I'm 100% for anime series. I'm way behind this video, but it looks like villain defeat rules completely engage the things that the Carly's play rule said. Yes. So, Doc, yes. Basically, what we realize is that even though it says defeating a character, and it doesn't reference C also when defeating a villain, so you wouldn't know that, it doesn't count, basically. Because again, they're treating the characters the same, even though it's in stage 1 and stage 2. And even though when that card leaves play, which the card does leave play, you still haven't defeated that character. So you have to ignore that. Have you played the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Unmatched stuff? No. It's right there. It's still boxed up. I want to do an unboxing. I think something like wrestling as a whole might work, but probably won't happen. Yeah. Wrestling would be interesting, though. Harry Potter had a few games. They had deck builders, right, for Harry Potter? Can you imagine JoJo's Bizarre Adventure TCG and stands and... yeah. There's a WWF game from the early 2000s. Yeah. And they did like a knockoff wrestling one. Feast is the only one of those that I've heard the most people enjoy. Feast wasn't bad. Gundam's a good one. Ash's questions for you. If I get Ascendancy, can I buy any Red Reigns box and play with the dice and tokens, etc. that come in Ascendancy? Or do I... No, you don't. You can't do that. So Ash's Ascendancy is backwards compatible, but you still need the Red Rain stuff to do Red Rain stuff. So you need the first Red Rain solo box, but the dice in Ash's Ascendancy will not work for any of the cards, right? Yeah, any of the cards in Ash's Reborn. So you would still need the first core box for the Red Rain stuff and whatever dice you want to use. Cryptosonic has a hockey deck building game. That's hilarious. It's kind of janky. Do you think Arkham Horror Chapter 2 will sell us the same cards we already own? Yes. I think they'll be tweaked. But yes. I mean, the investigators are kind of the same, right? But like aged up and a little bit different. Metal Gear Solid with Bankrupt D20, I'd be all in. I would hawk that game so hard for Fantasy Flight Games. Then I want to troll J.K. Rowling to get a dime, so a parody version would be much better of it. Man, I would love Gundam. There you go. Cannot pass stations. Cannot, except for when you can. There's a Gundam TCG, but it's kind of janky. Thanks for that. Yeah. Man, if you're in the Discord, I can talk to you more about it. Fleischlinger Games probably does the best wrestling game, but it's not a card game. Okay. Give me all the snake camo all arts. Oh my god! Don't even Tempt me. Don't tempt me, Frodo. I think all the dice are the same odds face-wise in Ashes, so I think technically you can proxy dice. I think they did it on Team Covenant. You could with your dice, but not the Dragon's dice is the issue, because they're different. Thanks for that note, Ashes. I'll have to get the Reborn core box. So, the Reborn core box will let you play with those heroes and those dice. It gets kind of weird with the getting Reborn into Ascendancy. Because like if you want to do the other solo stuff, you need the Red Reigns box as well. The Red Reigns box has like those tokens and that mat, which you kind of need, and it has like the dice that you need. Once you have that stuff, then you're good. On hold on Warhammer 40k. 40k would be amazing, says what? That'd be a lot. That'd be a lot. Shirtless snake with sunglasses foiled is my commander. I love it. Do you think there'll be an Arkham Horror Chapter 3 if it survives that long? I think that's asking a lot at this point. I mean, maybe. You never know, right? Kinfire Delve? No, I have not. I want to talk to them about sending it to me, though, because I heard it's really good. There's also a rules update in Ascendancy. You didn't exhaust dice on cards and ashes at the end of the round, but you do in Ascendancy. Exhaust dice on cards. Yes, that is true. Dragon Ball Z game? That would be fun, man. I'd be down for that. Not y'all? Yeah. All right, chat. I gotta get out of here. Oh, it's too much rules. My head hurts. There was a 40k LCG from Eric Lang years ago. All right. Also, welcome, Captain. All right, chat. I appreciate you all, especially since the stream crashed once again. Chapter 4. Let's get through chapter 2. See how that does. I will not be live Friday. Friday, Santa is coming at my mom's house. So we have to go see Santa, and that's going to be a thing. All that Rogue Energy tonight. Make sure to use my link. Get 10% off. Yes, let me bring up the Radiance page right now. I'm going to back up. Oh, yeah, they raised 200,000. Holy cow. So I won't be live Friday, unfortunately, because, again, we're doing the whole Santa thing. So that'll be that. But I'll be live Monday. And then probably not Wednesday. So does she have a chimney? She does. She does. But he gets pulled by the fire department. So we just wait outside for him. How do you store your Arkham Horror collection? It's so massive. Just BCW boxes. Just white BCW boxes. That's it. All of it gets stored in there. Same with Marvel Champions. So yeah, we'll do Monday. Happy holidays, chat. If I don't see, yes. Because the stretch goals unlocked unique art for every single card. Let's go. Monday, I don't know what we'll do. I really want to play this on stream. I really want to play this. I am addicted to this game right now. I like simple, straight to the point games, and this is it's not really simple or straight to the point. It took me a little bit to learn, but once you learn it, it's actually not bad. Like rule wise, gameplay wise, it's very good. It's very hard, but very good. Joe designed that too. Actually, that's true. If it's the same guy, now I'm even more on board. This is brilliant. This is a brilliant game. I haven't even touched the expansions yet, but for $15, the main game, brilliant game. Holy cow. It's not on 20 strong level yet. Dragons of what? Dragons of Etchenstone. It's Chip Theory Games. So right now you can get it on their website. I think it's $15. Joe's become one of my favorite designers. Dude, it's so good. And it's so funny because when I first saw all the cards and stuff, because this is what a card looks like. And I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to learn this. And then once you get the hang of it, you're like, oh, this makes a lot of sense. It's so funny. But yeah, I haven't touched the expansions yet. I have to do that still. But yeah, it's brilliant. It's a brilliant game. I know it was a print and play game originally, and then they got the Chip Theory Games version of it, so it's all like PVC cards and whatnot. But yeah, I want to make sure it's still on there. I'm pretty sure it's on there. Yeah, so it's a pre-order right now, but again, it's 15 bucks each of the main one. I haven't done these expansions, the 12 bucks each. These 2 expansions fit inside this box. So inside this little box, these 2 fit in. This one will not. You don't get the wallet unless you want to really carry around one for whatever reason. So yeah, I think maybe Monday we'll do this and play this. I would like to unbox that and play this. I don't know if I want to unbox that box yet. So easy to learn after seeing the symbology. It's overwhelming at first, then you get it. Yeah, the symbology thing, like the order was like really, really weird. And then once you, like, I'm sure I'm not playing 100% correct, but yeah, it's good. You can play Clank or Slay the Spire. You can play it. Definitely play it so easy. Yeah. Something good Monday game? Yeah, we'll do it Monday. We'll do something different. We need a break from Marvel Champions. Santa hat stream? I need to find a Santa hat. I'm sure I could find one. But yeah, so we'll be live Monday, not Wednesday, because Christmas Eve. And then we I think be good the next Friday. I'm not 100% sure. Things get really weird because I'm not sure. Like we have to go to my in-laws and different families and all that stuff. So make sure you're part of Discord. You'll know for sure when I'm going live and all that stuff. But once again, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for the support. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you all. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the rules. Hopefully you liked it and whatnot. And I will see you all. Arkham Horror Chapter 5 going all the way up to 6-7, baby. Have a good night, everyone. Take care.